The last person I expected to kick me out of my childhood home was my stepmother, but there she stood in her designer black dress, fresh from my father's funeral, telling me I had 20 minutes to leave. My name is Amara, and less than 3 hours ago I had watched my father's casket lower into the ground. Now I was staring at Rosalind's perfectly manicured finger pointing toward the door of what had been my home for 25 years. "This isn't right," I managed to say, my voice cracking. "Dad wouldn't—" "The will was very clear, dear?" Rosalind's smile didn't reach her eyes. "The house and all assets transfer to me. You received— well, nothing actually. Your father made his choices." My stepsister Destiny smirked from the doorway, phone in hand as always. "Better start packing, sis." I felt dizzy. This couldn't be happening. Dad and I had been close, closer than close. He'd raised me alone after Mum died until he married Rosalind when I was 12. Even then, we'd maintained our special bond, our Sunday morning chess games, our inside jokes, the way he'd leave me little notes with quotes from his favourite philosophers. "I want to see the will," I demanded, my hands shaking. "Already filed with the courts." Rosalind checked her watch. 19 minutes now. Tick-tock. I rushed upstairs to my room, tears blurring my vision. Most of my things were still there from before Dad got sick, when I'd moved back home to help care for him. Photos, books, memories, a life I couldn't pack in minutes. My stepbrother Dylan appeared in the doorway. "Need help?" "Don't pretend to care now," I snapped, grabbing my backpack. "You stood there silent through everything, through her keeping me from his hospital room, through her changing the locks while I was at the pharmacy getting his meds." Dylan looked away. "It's complicated." 15 minutes, Rosalind called up the stairs, her voice sickeningly sweet. I grabbed what I could, clothes, my laptop, the photo album Dad and I had put together on my 21st birthday. My hands were trembling so badly I could barely zip the bag. "Time's up," Destiny sang out. "Security's here." I turned to see 2 men in uniform at my door. Private security, not police. Of course, Rosalind would have arranged this. "Miss, we need you to leave the premises," the taller one said, not unkindly. "This is my home," I protested, but my voice sounded small even to me. They escorted me downstairs, past the familiar walls now feeling like a museum of betrayal. Rosalind stood by the front door, holding it open with exaggerated patience. "Don't forget to leave your house key," she said. "And don't come back. Any attempts to enter the property will be treated as trespassing." I dropped the key on the marble floor at her feet. "You won't get away with this." "I already have." She closed the door in my face. I stood there in the fading afternoon light, clutching my hastily packed bag and the photo album to my chest. My phone buzzed. Probably Stacy, my best friend, checking in after the funeral. I couldn't answer. Couldn't move. Finally, I walked to my car. The only thing I was sure was still mine. Inside, I let out a sob that had been building since the funeral. Since before the funeral, really. Since the night Dad died, and Rosalind had blocked my number. The photo album slipped from my lap, falling open. Something small and brass clattered onto the floor. A key? I picked it up, frowning. Tucked into the album's binding was a folded note in Dad's familiar handwriting. "My dearest Amara, if you're reading this, I fear the worst has happened. Behind the 3rd panel of my study's bookshelf is a door. This key opens it. Trust no one until you've seen what's inside. I love you. Dad." I stared at the note, then at the key. Dad's study, his private sanctuary where he'd spent hours working, reading, thinking. The room Rosalind had declared off-limits the moment he died. My phone buzzed again. This time I answered. "Stacy, I need your help and— do you still talk to Lucas? The one who became a detective? I need him too." I looked back at the house, at the study window where Dad used to wave to me when I came home from school. He'd known. Somehow he'd known this would happen. "Don't worry, Dad," I whispered, starting the car. "I'll make this right." The key felt warm in my palm, like an ember of hope in the darkness. Tomorrow I'd find out what was behind that panel, and Rosalind would learn that she'd picked the wrong daughter to betray. A real estate showing. Stacy's eyebrows shot up as she read the online listing on her phone. "She's already selling the house?" 9 a.m. tomorrow, I confirmed, pacing my tiny apartment. "Open house? That's our chance. Lucas leaned against my kitchen counter, still in his detective suit from work. Let me get this straight. You want us to sneak into your father's study during a public showing to find a secret door? Not sneak. Walk in legally, like any other potential buyers. I held up the brass key. Dad left this for a reason. And you're sure this is the only way? Lucas asked. Rosalind's got security patrolling at night. During the showing, she'll be distracted with buyers. It's perfect, Stacy nodded. I'm in. But what if she recognizes us? She's never met Lucas, and you've changed your hair since the last time she saw you. I gestured to Stacy's new platinum blonde bob. Just don't make eye contact. The next morning, we parked a block away. My heart hammered as we approached the house. Cars lined the street. At least a dozen potential buyers had shown up. Remember, Lucas whispered, we're a young couple looking for our first home. Stacy's my sister helping us shop. Inside, the house smelled of vanilla candles, Rosalind's signature staging scent. She stood in the foyer, chatting with an older couple. Her eyes slid past us without recognition. The study's this way, I murmured, leading them down the familiar hallway. We entered the book-lined room where I'd spent countless hours with Dad. Now it felt hollow, staged. The antique desk where he'd taught me chess was gone, replaced by some modern glass monstrosity. Look natural, Lucas said, pretending to examine crown moulding while I moved to the bookshelf. My fingers found the edge of the third panel. It looked identical to the others, but when I pressed, I felt a slight give. Someone's coming, Stacy warned. Destiny's voice carried from the hallway. The study has original hardwood and great natural light. I slipped the key into the nearly invisible keyhole and turned it. Click. Now what? Stacy whispered. I pushed. The panel swung inward silently, revealing a dark space beyond. Quick, Lucas urged, keeping watch. I slipped inside, pulling out my phone's flashlight. The hidden room was small, maybe 6 feet square. Metal filing cabinets lined one wall. A small safe sat on a shelf. Oh my God, I breathed. What is it? Stacy poked her head in. Dad's real office. Look. I pointed my light at the walls. They were covered in papers, photos, and sticky notes, all connected with red string, like something from a crime show. Amara? Lucas hissed. Hurry. I grabbed what I could. A stack of papers, a USB drive, what looked like legal documents. In the safe, I found another key labelled Box 221, First National. Footsteps approached. I slipped out, easing the panel shut. It clicked just as Destiny entered with an elderly couple. The built-ins are original to the house, she was saying. She faltered slightly, seeing us. Oh, hello? Beautiful room, Lucas said smoothly, taking my hand. Honey, what do you think about the light? I forced a smile. It's perfect. We made our way out, past Rosalind, who was now describing the kitchen's marble countertops to a crowd of buyers. My hand clutched the documents inside my jacket. In the car, I finally breathed. I can't believe that worked. What did you find? Stacy asked. I pulled out the papers. On top was a document titled Last Will and Testament. This is dated 3 months ago, I said, scanning it. After the one Rosalind filed, and it's completely different. How so? Lucas asked. It names me as sole executor. Says I inherit everything. The house, his investments, everything. My hands shook. There's a note paper clipped to it. Real copy with Edith. Edith? Your dad's old attorney? Stacy asked. I nodded. She retired last year. Rosalind must not have known about her. This could change everything, Lucas said. But Amara, if Rosalind filed a different will, that's fraud. Serious fraud. Look at this. I held up the safety deposit box key. Whatever's in that box, Dad wanted me to find it. He left a trail. We should call Edith, Stacy said. First thing tomorrow? I stared at the key. But tonight, I need to read everything we found. Dad was investigating something. Those strings on the wall, all those papers. He was building a case. Against Rosalind? Lucas asked. I thought of my stepmother's cold smile at the funeral. We're going to find out. And when we do, she'll wish she'd never underestimated me. Edith's home office smelled like coffee and old books. She adjusted her reading glasses, examining the documents we'd recovered. "Your father came to see me 3 months before he died," she said. "He was worried about Rosalind's behaviour, especially after he discovered some concerning financial transactions." "What kind of transactions?" I asked. "Large sums being moved to offshore accounts." Edith pulled out a thick folder. "He asked me to keep copies of everything, including this." She handed me a notarized will, identical to the one we'd found in the hidden room. "This is the real will? The legal one?" "Yes, and I have video of your father signing it, with witnesses." Edith's eyes hardened. "What Rosalind filed is a fraud." My phone buzzed. A text from Stacy. "Turn on Channel 7 now." Edith grabbed her remote. The local news showed Rosalind outside an auction house, surrounded by reporters. "These are priceless family antiques," Rosalind was saying. "My late husband would have wanted them to find loving homes." "Stop the auction." Edith was already dialing. "Those pieces are listed in the real will. She has no right to sell them." Within an hour, Edith's legal team had served the auction house with an emergency injunction. I watched through social media as Rosalind received the news live, her perfect mask cracking for just a moment. "That's just the beginning," Edith said, hanging up. "We're filing to contest the fraudulent will tomorrow morning. But Amara, you should know. Your father left something else with me." She pulled out a sealed envelope. Inside was a USB drive and a letter. "My dearest daughter," I read aloud. "If you're reading this, then my suspicions about Rosalind were correct. The drive contains financial records, emails, and recordings of conversations that worried me. Be careful who you trust. She has powerful friends. Love, Dad." "We should get these to Lucas," I said. "Have the police." A knock at Edith's door made us both jump. Her secretary poked her head in. "Ms. Rosalind is here. She's demanding to speak with you." "Perfect timing." Edith smiled grimly. "Amara, use my back door. I'll handle her." I slipped out, but not before hearing Rosalind's shrill voice. "How dare you interfere with my auction?" Back home, I started going through the USB drive. Dad had been meticulous, documenting everything. Emails showed Rosalind discussing account transfers with someone named M. Bank statements revealed millions moving through shell companies. My phone rang. "Lucas, you need to see this," he said. "Those transfers? They line up exactly with your father's hospital stays. Every time he was admitted, money moved." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying someone might have been paying to keep him sick." Lucas paused. "Or worse." A sharp knock at my door made me freeze. Then something slid underneath. A white envelope. "Hang on," I told Lucas, approaching cautiously. The hallway was empty. Inside the envelope was a single note, cut from magazine letters. "You don't know who you're messing with. Back off or else." "Lucas, can you come over? Bring your kit." He arrived 20 minutes later, dusting the note for prints. "Professional job," he said. "No prints, generic paper. But this tells us something important." "What?" "Rosalind's scared. You've got her running." My phone chimed with an email from Edith. "Hearing scheduled for Monday. Rosalind's lawyer requesting delay. Don't worry, Judge is an old friend. This is happening." I looked at the threatening note, then at Dad's letter. "She thinks she can scare me off. She doesn't understand. Dad left me everything I need to take her down." "Be careful," Lucas warned. "These types of cases can get ugly." "They already are." I opened Dad's financial records. "Help me go through these? There's something here about a company called Maritime Holdings." We worked late into the night, piecing together the puzzle Dad had left behind. Each discovery made my blood run colder. The money, the timing, the hidden accounts. Around midnight, my phone lit up with a text from an unknown number. "You're just like your father. Too stubborn to let things go. Remember what happened to him?" I showed Lucas. "That's it," he said, pulling out his phone. "I'm putting a patrol car outside your building tonight." "No," I said, saving another batch of incriminating files. "Let her think she's getting to me. The more desperate she gets, the more mistakes she'll make." I pinned the threatening note to my wall, right next to Dad's letter. "Monday can't come fast enough." "Look at this," Lucas said, pointing to his laptop screen. "The metadata on the will Rosalind filed? It shows editing timestamps from 2 days after your father died." We were in his office at the police station, surrounded by printouts and coffee cups. 3 days had passed since the threatening note. She edited a PDF of Dad's will. I leaned closer. Badly. She didn't know how to clear the digital trail. He clicked through several files. The original document properties are still there. Can we prove it's fraud? With this? Absolutely. He saved the evidence to a flash drive. But there's more. Those bank transfers we found? They trace back to an account in the Cayman Islands, opened in your stepsister's name. My phone buzzed. A gallery invitation. Speaking of destiny, what is it? She's having an art showing tonight. Her first solo exhibition. I made air quotes. Funded by my father's money, no doubt. Don't do anything rash, Lucas warned. Me? Never. I grabbed my coat. I just want to congratulate my dear stepsister on her success. The gallery was packed when I arrived. Destiny stood in the centre, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my car, champagne in hand. Her face fell when she saw me. You're not welcome here. Beautiful work, I said, gesturing to the nearest painting. Amazing what you can accomplish with stolen money. You don't know what you're talking about. But her hand shook, splashing champagne. Maritime Holdings ring a bell? The Cayman account? She grabbed my arm, pulling me toward a quiet corner. Keep your voice down. Why? Afraid your fancy art friends might learn where your startup capital came from? You think you're so smart. Her perfectly made-up face twisted. You have no idea what we had to do, what we worked for? We. She caught herself taking a long drink. Get out before I call security. Don't worry, I'm leaving. But first, I pulled out my phone, showing her the metadata evidence. Might want to warn Mom about her sloppy PDF editing. Her face went pale. How did you... Dad taught me to always keep receipts. I turned to leave, then paused. By the way, the gallery owner? Old family friend. Might want to start packing these up before the fraud investigation freezes your assets. Back in my car, I called Lucas. Destiny just confirmed it. They worked together to forge the will. Good. We can add that to... He stopped. Hold on. Something just came through about your father's computer. What about it? Tech team found deleted files. Lots of them. Voice memos mainly. Can they recover them? Already did. I'm sending you one now. Amara, you need to hear this. I played the file. Dad's voice filled my car. October 15th. Confronted Rosalind about the missing funds. She denied everything, but I saw her later speaking with Marcus from the hospital board. Something's not right. If anything happens to me, the proof is in the study. Amara will know what to do. My hands gripped the steering wheel. When was this recorded? 3 days before his first cardiac episode, Lucas said quietly. She did something to him. She and this Marcus person. My voice cracked. We have to prove it. We will. But Amara, whoever Marcus is, he's got hospital connections. This goes deeper than just Rosalind. My phone chimed with another text from the unknown number. Last warning. Drop the case or join your father. I forwarded it to Lucas. They're getting desperate. Stay at my place tonight. We don't know what they're capable of. No. I started the car. I need to check one more thing at the house. The study? There might be more recordings. Don't go alone. I won't. Stacy's meeting me there. I pulled out into traffic. Besides, Rosalind's at some charity gala tonight. House will be empty. Be careful. And Amara, we're close. Don't let them spook you now. I hung up, Dad's voice memo still echoing in my head. He'd known. He'd tried to fight back, and they'd done something to silence him. Don't worry, Dad, I whispered, turning toward the house that was rightfully mine. I'm not backing down, not until they pay for everything they did to you. The brass key felt heavy in my pocket, a weight of responsibility, of justice waiting to be served. Whatever I found tonight, whatever threats they made, I was ready. The time for warnings was over. The hidden study felt colder this time. Stacy held her phone light steady while I connected Dad's old laptop to a power source. Are you sure about this? She whispered. The voice memo mentioned more proof. I typed in his password. It has to be here. The computer hummed to life. Dozens of audio files populated the screen, each dated and labelled. I clicked the most recent one. Final recording. Dad's voice filled the small space. If you're hearing this, Rosalind got to me first. I've suspected for months she's been working with Marcus from the hospital board. The medications they've prescribed, they're not helping. They're making things worse. Stacy grabbed my arm. Amara. I've gathered evidence, Dad continued. Bank statements showing payments to Marcus. Security footage from my office when they thought I was asleep. It's all here. And copies are with Edith. Rosalind doesn't just want my money. She wants everything I've built. And Marcus, he's helping her destroy it all. A noise downstairs made us freeze. Someone's here, Stacy mouthed. I quickly copied the files to my phone. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. The panel, I whispered. Quick! We slipped inside just as the study door opened. Through the tiny gap, I saw Rosalind enter with a man in an expensive suit. It has to be here somewhere, she was saying. That brat found something. She knows too much. The hearing's in 2 days, the man replied. Must be Marcus. If she has proof of the tampering. She doesn't. But her father... Rosalind ran her hands along the bookshelf. He was always too clever for his own good. My phone chose that moment to ding, the file transfer completing. Rosalind's head snapped toward the panel. Did you hear that? Marcus approached the bookshelf. This section looks different. I held my breath. Stacy's hand found mine in the darkness. It's just an old house, Rosalind said. The important thing is stopping that girl before Monday. The medication logs, the payment records. If those get out... They won't, Marcus assured her. I've already contacted someone to handle it. Like we handled her father? My blood ran cold. That was different, Marcus said. The sedatives were untraceable, a tragic cardiac event in a sick man. But Amara, she's young, healthy. It would raise questions. Then find another way. Rosalind's voice hardened. I didn't come this far to lose everything to Marvin's precious daughter. They left, closing the study door. We waited 5 minutes before daring to breathe. We need to call Lucas, Stacy whispered. Right now. My hands shook as I dialed. Lucas? They're planning something. I heard them. Rosalind and Marcus, they killed my father. Sedatives in his medication. Where are you? The study. We found recordings. Dad knew they were poisoning him. Stay there. I'm coming with a team. But as I hung up, another voice memo caught my eye. Dated the day before Dad died. My final message to Amara. I pressed play. Sweetheart, if you're listening to this, I'm so sorry. I tried to fight them, to expose what they were doing. The altered medications, the missing funds. It's all connected to Marcus's hospital board. Rosalind's been helping them embezzle for years. I have proof, but I'm getting weaker. Whatever they're giving me, it's working. Remember what I taught you about chess. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a piece to win the game. I'm your sacrifice play, darling. Use what I've left you. Make them pay. I love you. Tears streamed down my face. Stacy hugged me tight. We've got them, she said. We've got everything we need. My phone buzzed. Edith. Emergency meeting. Marcus just filed an injunction to stop Monday's hearing. Let him try, I texted back. I have the final proof. Dad left us everything. Sirens approached outside. Lucas and his team arriving. Ready? Stacy asked. I looked around the hidden room one last time, at the evidence Dad had gathered, the trap he'd set, knowing he might not survive to spring it. They killed my father, I said. Slowly poisoned him while pretending to care for him. Now it's my turn to show them what real care looks like. We emerged from behind the panel just as Lucas entered with uniformed officers. We got it all on recording, I told him. Their confession. Everything. Good. He nodded to his team. Let's go pay Rosalind and Marcus a visit. The police station's interview room felt suffocating. I watched through the one-way glass as Lucas questioned Dylan, who kept fidgeting with his designer watch. Tell me again about the night your stepfather died, Lucas said. Dylan's voice cracked. I already told you. Tell me again. I was downstairs. Mom was upstairs with Marvin. I heard them arguing. About what? His medication. He was saying something wasn't right, that he felt worse. Dylan swallowed hard. Then I heard Mom on the phone with Marcus. What did she say? She said everything was going according to plan, that soon they wouldn't have to worry about Marvin interfering anymore. His hands shook. An hour later, Dad was dead. I pressed my palm against the glass. Next to me, Edith scribbled notes furiously. "Why didn't you come forward before?" Lucas asked. "Mum said she'd cut me off. And Marcus, he knows things about what I did at the hospital." "What things?" "I helped falsify some records, changed medication logs. I didn't know they were... I thought it was just insurance fraud." The door opened. Another detective entered with a file. "The toxicology report you requested," she told Lucas. "Second opinion from an independent lab." Lucas opened it, then slid it across to Dylan. "Recognize these medications?" Dylan's face went pale. That's not what they told me they were giving him." "No," Lucas said. "These are powerful sedatives, combined with his heart condition. Oh, God." Dylan put his head in his hands. "I helped them kill him." I turned away, unable to watch more. In the hallway, Stacey waited with coffee. "How's it going?" "Dylan's talking. Apparently, he helped them cover it up." I took a shaky sip. "Where's Rosalind?" "Still in custody. She's demanding her lawyer." My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You'll regret this." "Marcus," I said. "He's still out there." "Not for long." Lucas emerged from the interview room. Dylan gave us everything. The medication logs, the bank transfers, even recordings of conversations between Marcus and Rosalind. Where would Marcus go? "We've got units at his house and the hospital." Lucas checked his phone. "Border Patrol's been notified. He won't get far." Edith joined us, legal pad in hand. "This changes everything for Monday's hearing. With Dylan's testimony and the new toxicology report..." A commotion down the hall interrupted her. Destiny burst in, mascara streaking her face. "You!" She lunged at me. Officers held her back. "You ruined everything." "Your mother killed my father," I said calmly. "She poisoned him slowly while you all watched." "You don't understand. Marcus was going to make me head of hospital administration. We were going to be somebody." "You already were somebody," I said. "You were his family, and you helped murder him." She collapsed into sobs as officers led her away. My phone buzzed again, this time a news alert. My heart stopped. "Marcus found dead in apparent suicide," I read aloud. "Police discovered his body." "Convenient," Lucas muttered. "Too convenient," Edith agreed. "Rosalind must have had a contingency plan." Another officer approached with an evidence bag. "Found this in Marcus's office. Thought you should see it." Inside was a handwritten confession, detailing everything. The embezzlement scheme, the medication tampering, Rosalind's involvement. A perfect bow to wrap up the case. "He didn't write this," I said. "This is exactly what Rosalind wanted. A dead scapegoat who can't defend himself." "Doesn't matter," Lucas said. "We have Dylan's testimony, the recordings, the toxicology report. She's not getting away with this." My phone rang. The hospital board chairman. "Amara, we've reviewed the evidence. The board is prepared to testify about Marcus's suspicious activities over the past year." "We had no idea." "Thank you," I said. "That will help." I hung up and looked at the interview room where Dylan sat, broken and confessing, at Destiny being led away in tears, at the evidence mounting against the woman who thought she could take everything from me. "Monday's hearing," I said to Edith. "Will you be ready?" She smiled grimly. "Oh yes, your father left us everything we need. Rosalind thought she was so clever, but she never understood what she was up against." "A father's love," Stacey said softly, "and a daughter's determination." I touched the brass key in my pocket, the key that had unlocked not just a hidden room, but the whole twisted truth. "Let's finish this," I said. "For Dad." The courtroom fell silent as Rosalind took the stand. She'd traded her designer clothes for something more subdued, a navy suit that screamed, "Grieving widow." Her performance was starting. "Mrs. Parker," her lawyer began, "did you love your husband?" "With all my heart." Her voice quavered perfectly. "Everything I did was for our family." "Including forging his will?" Edith stood. "Including slowly poisoning him to death?" "Objection. Withdrawn." But Edith's point had landed. Rosalind's mask slipped for just a second. "I'd like to present evidence," Edith continued, nodding to the bailiff. A screen lowered. This is security footage from Marvin's home office, dated 3 days before his death. The video played. Dad at his desk, looking frail. Rosalind entering with a glass of water and pills. "Take these, darling. Doctor's orders." "They make me feel strange." Dad's voice was weak. "Worse than before. Trust me, Marcus knows what's best." The judge leaned forward. "And these medications were?" "Sedatives," Edith said. "Not the heart medication prescribed? The toxicology report confirms it." Rosalind's lawyer jumped up. "This proves nothing. My client was following doctor's orders." "Really?" Edith pressed play on an audio file. Rosalind's voice filled the courtroom. "Everything's going according to plan. Soon we won't have to worry about Marvin interfering anymore." Rosalind's composure cracked. "That's taken out of context." "Then let's add context." Edith gestured to the bailiff. "The court calls Dylan Phillips." My stepbrother walked in, shoulders hunched. He wouldn't meet his mother's eyes. "Tell us what you witnessed the night Marvin died." Dylan's testimony was devastating. The medication swaps, the conversations with Marcus, the systematic destruction of my father's health. "And the will?" Edith prompted. "Mom edited it after he died. I watched her do it. The original—" He glanced at me. "The original left everything to Amara." Rosalind stood up. "He's lying. Dylan, how dare you—" "Sit down, Mrs. Parker," the judge ordered. "The court has heard testimony from the hospital board," Edith continued. "About millions in embezzled funds, about Marcus's suspicious death, about your involvement in both. You can't prove, but we can." I handed Edith the final piece, Dad's last recording. His voice echoed through the courtroom. "Rosalind and Marcus are poisoning me. The evidence is all here. The altered medications, the missing funds." Rosalind lunged toward the speaker. "Turn it off! Restrain the defendant," the judge ordered. 2 officers moved forward. Rosalind's perfect mask shattered completely. "He was ruining everything," she screamed. "All our plans, our future. Marcus promised me the hospital board position. We would have been unstoppable." The courtroom erupted. The judge banged his gavel. "Remove Mrs. Parker, and given her outburst, I'm ordering her held without bail." As they led her away, she locked eyes with me. "You're just like him, always thinking you're so clever." "No," I said clearly. "I'm worse, because I finished what he started." The judge's ruling was swift. The fraudulent will was invalidated. Dad's real will, the one leaving everything to me, was reinstated. Criminal charges would follow. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. How does it feel to expose the truth? What happens to the hospital board now? Any comment on Marcus's suspicious death? Edith shepherded me through them. My client has no comment except this. Justice was served today. A daughter's inheritance was restored. A father's murder was avenged. Lucas waited by his car. Need a ride? Actually, I looked at the house keys in my hand. My house keys now. I need to go home. Want company? I shook my head. This part I need to do alone. The house was quiet when I entered. Moving companies had already cleared out Rosalind's things. In Dad's study, the hidden panel stood open. I walked inside one last time. The evidence wall was empty now, everything catalogued into police evidence. But Dad's presence remained. My phone buzzed. A text from Dylan. "I'm sorry for everything. I know it doesn't help, but I needed you to know." I didn't respond. Some betrayals run too deep for forgiveness. Instead, I sat at Dad's desk, my desk now, and opened his journal to the last page. His final written words stared back at me. "Remember, my darling girl, the truth always rises. Like cream, like justice, like love." "We did it, Dad," I whispered. "We brought them all down." The brass key sat heavy in my palm, a reminder of where this all began, of what justice costs, of what love can accomplish. It was time to close the hidden door, but its secrets had already done their work. The moving truck pulled away, leaving me alone in the driveway. Inside, the house echoed with emptiness, all of Rosalind's staged furniture gone, waiting for me to make it home again. My phone buzzed, a news alert. Hospital board members indicted in embezzlement scheme. Another text followed from Lucas. Rosalind's plea deal fell through. DA's pushing for maximum sentence. Good, I typed back. Any word on Marcus's death? Security footage shows Rosalind's lawyer entering his house that night. Investigation ongoing. I walked through the rooms, touching familiar walls. In the kitchen, Dad's old coffee mug still sat in the cupboard. In his study, the hidden panel was sealed. Its work done. The doorbell rang. Dylan stood outside, hands in his pockets. "Can we talk?" I left the security chain on. "About what?" "I'm selling my shares in the hospital, donating the money to patient advocacy groups." He swallowed hard. "It won't bring him back, but—" "No," I said, "it won't. There's something else. A safety deposit box in Mum's name. I found the key when they cleaned out her office." He held out a small envelope. "I think you should have what's inside." I took it without thanks. He turned to leave, then stopped. "You know what the worst part is? Dad, Marvin, he tried to help me get clean last year, paid for rehab, said I could be better than what Mum wanted for me." His voice cracked. "And I repaid him by watching him die. Goodbye, Dylan." Inside, I opened the envelope. A key and an address. First National Bank. Stacey drove me there. The box contained stacks of cash, offshore account numbers, and a USB drive labelled Insurance. "What's on it?" Stacey asked. "Everything." I plugged it into my laptop. Every conversation, every transaction, every player in their scheme, Mum's ultimate backup plan. Why would she keep evidence against herself? Leverage, in case anyone tried to betray her. I smiled grimly. Now it's evidence for the prosecution? My phone rang. Edith. "The hospital board wants to make amends," she said. "They're establishing a patient safety foundation in your father's name. Tell them to focus on medication oversight. Make sure this never happens again." That evening, I sat in Dad's study, surrounded by boxes of his books. A notebook fell open, his handwriting jumping out. "The greatest revenge isn't destruction. It's building something better from the ashes." The hidden panel caught my eye. One last time I opened it. The room was empty now, its secrets exposed. But on the back wall, Dad had written something I hadn't noticed before. "For Amara. Remember that justice without mercy makes us like those we fight against. Your strength is in your compassion, not your anger." My phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Visiting hours are Tuesday and Thursday. Dylan. I thought about Rosalind sitting in her cell, about Dylan trying to make amends, about Dad's words on the wall. I dialed Edith. "The foundation," I said. "I want to run it. Make sure it actually helps people." "Are you sure? After everything? Dad always said the best way to fight darkness was to create light." I could hear her smile. "He'd be proud of you." Later I stood in the garden where Dad used to read. The roses he planted were blooming, life continuing despite everything. Stacey joined me, holding 2 glasses of wine. "To justice," she said. "To building something better." My phone chimed. A message from Lucas. "DA approved your request to speak at the sentencing." I looked at the house. My house now. At the study window where Dad used to wave. At the garden he loved. "You know what Dad would say right now?" I asked Stacey. "What?" "The best revenge is living well." I smiled. "And making sure others get to live well too." I pulled out the brass key one last time. The key that started everything. Tomorrow I'd seal the panel forever. Its work was done. But tonight I'd sit in Dad's garden, drink wine with my best friend, and plan a foundation that would save lives. Because that's what Dad would have wanted. Not just revenge, but redemption. Not just justice, but healing. I looked up at the stars, the same ones Dad and I used to watch together. "We did it, Dad," I whispered. "And now we'll do even more." The roses nodded in the evening breeze, their perfume sweet with promise. Sometimes the best endings aren't endings at all, but new beginnings. I was ready for mine.